Yo, when it comes to the sacrifices I had to make in order for my health to like improve and for the quality of my life overall to improve, not gonna lie, it's freaking everything. Like every aspect of my life, I had to give it up or change it in some sort of way in order for it to actually be like natty, in order for it to actually be like real or like helpful or like have like a positive impact on my life instead of kind of like kind of like a chuddy lifestyle. I had to like change everything in order for my lifestyle and everything to improve and for it to actually like center around me improving my health and for my health to continuously improve in the environment that I live in. And even when it comes to outside, like when I'm out reacting in stores or stuff like that, I had to change the way that I still go about things, like touching receipts or when I enter my car, like how I have to roll down the windows so the freaking because like the whole dashboard and all that's made of like plastic, right? So all the PFAs and BPAs and all that heat that's like moving in the air, all those chemicals and stuff like that, because through dust and all that other BS, right? I have to roll down the window so all that can like move out of the freaking way, right? So all that can get out and exit my car and even like in my home about like air quality improving, like putting plants in there, having more being more plant oriented and stuff like that. And when it comes to like the foods I eat, like I had to get rid of like comfort foods that I had. I had a comfort food of freaking every Saturday and Sunday morning, like whenever I didn't have like school that morning for years on end, I would have myself, what's that junk called? I have myself a big old bowl of cereal, and that bowl of cereal was delicious. I have a big old bowl of cereal. I'll be munching. I low key take me like 30, 40 minutes just to eat that big bowl of cereal. I have like a little screen show playing and stuff like that. Even though the cereal was technically considered healthy, it wasn't like the healthiest cereal out there. And it wasn't like actually doing me any good. It's actually just doing me harm because after I ate that cereal, I felt like sluggish. I felt sleepy and tired afterwards. Like all I could do and have the energy for is sitting on the couch and like recovering after I ate that bowl of cereal because of how like low quality it is and how my body is like, all right, we just consumed a big old bowl of BS and how there's nothing that's really in there that's there for me to help improve my life, nothing like that. Like there was nothing. There was no use, no nothing, no power, no energy, no micronutrients, nothing other than the fake vitamins that they freaking injected into the cereal, bro. I literally had like nothing in there that could do me any good whatsoever, right? So then I later switched it to instant oatmeal, right? From instant oatmeal, it's like, all right, this is oatmeal, it's good, right? Like oatmeal is good for me, right? But as I'm looking, because this was like the Quaker instant oats, right? As I'm looking at the ingredients, I realized that this is also some BS, right? And that I can't eat this, right? So I'm like, bruh. So it took me like a long time in order for me to like take out all like literally break out my diet, like to rip out all the trash from my diet, rip out all my comfort food, which was the cereal, and then turned it to the oatmeal. Because instead of me eating cereal, I switched to like oatmeal, thinking it was healthier. Because it's oatmeal, right? Oatmeal is like good for you, right? So I switched to oatmeal, and I would sit Saturday, Sunday mornings enjoying like my little show on my phone, and I'll do that for Saturday, Sunday mornings. But then I was like, all right, I really gotta, because I really gotta look into this further, right? Because I still didn't feel good. I still felt like I had to recover. I still felt sleepy. I still felt low of energy. I still feel drained after eating this big bowl of oatmeal, right? So I was like, all right, what can I do now? Because I swapped it and I still have the same problem, me feeling sickly. I'm still trying to improve my health. I'm still trying to minimize the symptoms that I'm showing for me feeling sickly and still feel like hyper full of energy after eating a meal. I want to feel like I'm freaking bounce off a wall, stuff like that, right? So I'm trying to feel good, right? I'm trying to feel consistently great. Not like, like I ate a meal, energy drops, ate a meal, energy drops. I'm not trying to have like that waviness to it. No, I'm trying to have consistently high freaking energy 24/7, right? Which I feel like I now attained for real, right? Because I feel like I'm pretty high energy, but at the same time, it's feeling wise. Health feeling is like a lot more subjective, right? So you gotta use like metrics to actually check for it. I got this little app on my phone that like tracks my energy. I'm not sure how like useful it is because it's like it goes off my watch, so I'm curious on how that works. I just now started looking into it to see if I can like look at more metrics because my sleep score, I'm getting like almost perfect every night, almost perfect. I had some slip ups low key because life gets in the way of you having like going to bed and waking up at the same time, right? But I've had some slip ups when it comes to that. But like generally, my sleep score is like 98, 97, like 97, 98. That's typically like my sleep score. But I'll say the lowest it would ever go is like 93. Like I was hard stuck 93 a few maybe like a week ago, I was hard stuck 93, but now I'm like hard stuck like 97, 98. But typically I hit like 98 consistently every night, which is, it's all right. But I'll typically lose a few points for like bedtime because I didn't go to bed closest to the range of like when I typically go to bed. So like, like things like that, I'll like lose points for, which is kind of a shame. But more importantly, when it comes to like sleep and stuff like that, trying to like I be trying to make sure I be in bed for like 9 to 10 hours, 9 to 10 hours of bedtime, making sure I'm really like in bed for like all I like to be asleep for 9 hours, but being like time in bed, have it be like 9 to 10 hours and having me time asleep 9 to 10 hours. Cause like being in bed for 10 hours and being asleep for like 9 hours is completely different. And I could have 9 hours of sleep, but have like freaking low quality sleep because I was like waking up throughout the night, like just because you sleep for a long time doesn't mean the quality of sleep itself was actually really good compared to if I went to sleep for like 6 hours and I had 6 hours of high quality, like freaking REM sleep, right? How I feel like freaking best there is. It's kind of like be giving myself more time in bed, gives myself more opportunity to reach higher stages of sleep. Well, lower stages of sleep, technically, if you want to think of it like that. Either way, but higher stages of sleep though to improve my sleep and stuff like that, right? But but sacrifices wise, like despite the impact on my wallet, right? Despite the impact of my wallet and the sheer sacrifices my wallet has had to make for me, right? It's like getting rid of my comfort foods, and on the final step, I have come to my granola date banana cinnamon mix. Like I've shown it on like like in my shorts, like YouTube shorts on Instagram, TikTok, like and Facebook. Like I've showed my like on my platforms, like my struggle meals and stuff like that that I be making. I haven't showed the progression of how long it was, but it really was like cereal, oatmeal, and then now we have like this organic granola, A2 milk. Like I go through the whole shorts. I show you all of it. But now I have like a good like baseline for it. And I eat this and I actually feel like good. I feel full of energy after I eat it, which is nice. That's a freaking thumbs up right there. I mean, eating food and feeling like great afterwards is really important because it's like I don't want to feel sluggish and like weak and tired of energy and just drained after I finish eating. So I go, no, I want to feel like perked up. I want to feel like a champ. I want to feel great. I feel like I can go take on the day and go do what needs to be done. Like I want to feel like empowered after I eat. I mean, even though digestion is like a heavy process on the body, I still want to feel great after I eat, which I'm able to do as long as I eat higher quality foods. Like if I go and eat a freaking large pizza, I'm not gonna feel that way. I'm not gonna lie, right? But despite sacrificing comfort foods and sacrificing my wallet, right? This wallet might have been low key generational biggest sacrifice. Because some of this junk is not cheap. I'm not gonna lie, some of this junk is not cheap. But there's ways you can get it done cheaply. There's ways you can get it done on a budget. You just gotta really you just gotta try and put forth like the mental effort into like really the mental effort. I don't know why I touch about cheeks, but like the mental effort into like getting it done for real, right? You just gotta put forth that energy and you can get it done like cheaply on a budget and feel better, improve the quality of life. 'Cause what's more important than having our own bodies feeling like empowered, feeling strengthened, feeling like, okay, like, all right, I feel like freaking perked up, right? And either way, despite how the sacrifice of my wallet, like, despite how much of like I'm joking about it, that is real. Like, it is a sacrifice of my wallet, but at the same time, it's either I'm paying for like things to improve my quality of life, to improve my health, or I'm paying of the freaking pharmaceutical companies out there to freaking give me medication so I can take 5, 10 medications a day just to feel normal, just to feel like healthy, to like reduce it for like, I mean, just to feel some type of way, right? Taking a whole bunch of medication every single morning. I mean, just to still feel like worse or sickly, how like things are happening and I just don't know what it is, and to feel unknown about my health. But when you're taking like initiative into my health and I'm using my wallet and paying for my health right now and not having to pay the pharmaceutical companies, and I can feel better than how I'd feel if I gave them my money because they only get paid when I'm sick, but I technically I'm getting paid by like, by energy and by being able to do more in life and do more in the world when I do feel better, when I do feel empowered, when I'm like my symptoms for sickness is lower because health can be subjective. Because even when I was sickly back in my freshman year of college, even when I felt sickly, I mean, diarrhea, oily freaking skin, sour BO, even when I had all that BS, like and other freaking acid reflux, those symptoms going on, I still would have told you I'm healthy, right? So even now, like how I've gone now, checking out metrics to check out my sleep score, really trying to max that one out, keep it maxed out every single night, and reducing all the freaking sickly symptoms that I'm showing. Doing that is more important than like me saying I feel healthy. So kind of like showing like that. All right, my symptoms now is like a post nasal drip where I have to like spit up this freaking nasty mucus ball, right? I still have that one now, right? Still trying to work on that one, trying to figure out what like how I can get rid of that, how I can work on that stuff like that, right? but really improve my health by seeing like the negative symptoms that I have because my body's gonna show me and express to me in like many different ways that like we have a problem. Like some freaking my right knee joint pain that I have sometimes after doing like heavy intense like basketball sessions, right? Or like hoop sessions or anything like that. Like I'll have like right knee joint pain, right? And when I'm having this right knee joint pain, like that's like it'll happen like the next day, right? Sometimes joint pain can be like a problem in the gut because most or like practically every like disease that you have or like sickness that overtakes you, stuff like that starts in the gut, right? So like if you ever had like a stomach bug before, you know how like even though it's just like a stomach gut, like stomach bug and it feels like nasty, how it affects like your entire body, like your entire day, how you feel like completely taken out, right? Compared to you just had a sinus infection, right? It's annoying, it's sickly, right? But like it's really like all up here, right? Like I just have to like handle and be annoyed with everything that's going on up here. I still don't feel good, right? I still feel sickly, but at the same time, that's all up here. Compared to if I had a stomach bug, even though like the severity of these two diseases are like different, I'm just trying to make the point that like if like everything starts in the stomach, if your stomach's taken out. I think like what, like 80 to 90% of your immune system like start in the stomach. And if something bad happens in your stomach, it's going to be reflected everywhere else on your body, right? Kind of like with like acne and other things like that, right? So everything starts in the gut to go about it. So, it's important to have like great what was it, microbiome, gut microbiome, freaking diversity. It's great to feed them because you're not really feeding yourself, you're feeding them, but that's on like a little bit of a different point, right? But the main thing is like the sacrifices I had to make were freaking kind of annoying, I'm not gonna lie. They were needed, and once I've done the sacrifices and lived through it, like some of my favorite freaking clothing and clothing brands, I found out like the polyester is freaking like 60% cotton, 40% polyester. I found out some of my favorite like compression shirts I had are like 100% polyester because most compression shirts are just 100% polyester. Some of the cool shorts I had are just like 40% polyester, 30% polyester, 80% polyester. Like I'm just like looking through my clothes, polyester, polyester, polyester. I ground on my polyester. I was like, all right, I gotta get rid of all this. But I have so much polyester in my closet. I already threw out all my underwear. All my underwear is swapped on day one because underwear is like the most important important part to swap out because it's like literally touching one of the most valuable parts of your body. And polyester absorbs through the skin. That's why it's important to swap out your polyester. You don't want like the PFAs and all those anti chemicals to absorb into you, hormone disrupting, and I mean acts as like fake estrogen, I think it was. But basically just BS. You don't want polyester. You don't want to wear polyester because as you, especially if you heat up, it traps heat, which is also kind of annoying. It has a whole bunch of chemicals that's been like cooked with and baked with, and those chemicals also can like leach into you. You can't wash them out just like you can wash out cotton, but they can just spit in this junk at you for real. But that's kind of like a little like crash course on why polyester is like bad and you shouldn't wear it. But when it comes to swapping out all your polyester clothing, right? I had a lot more polyester and like mixed polyester, like mixed cotton and polyester clothing than I thought, right? So I was like, all right, if I did throw out everything that had like an ounce of polyester or like nylon or I think spandex is one of it or something like that. But if I did throw all that out, then I would just be left with like two, three shirts, right? That was a few months ago. Now I've been working actively to change my wardrobe. Most of my clothes is cotton. Most of my joggers and shorts are all cotton. Most of my socks most of all my socks are cotton, all my underwear is cotton, most of my shirts are cotton, but my pants, I kind of differ. My pants kind of differ a little bit, but most of them, I'll say like 70% of my pants, I'll say like 80% of my shirts, but some of my shirts have like a bit of a blend of polyester, which kind of sucks. So I'm still kind of going through ripping them out, kind of changing. I'm still going through that active process right now. I'm towards the end stages though, because I already have like the most important parts, like the socks and the underwear swapped out, right? But and most of my shirts, is still joggers, and most of those swapped out. But I'm still going through the ending stages of gonna have everything cotton, right? As I get like bigger and stronger, stuff like that, as I'm like swapping out my clothes. Like what was it? As reducing the polyester, which so I had to lose some of my favorite brands, I had to lose some of my favorite shirts and pants and some of my favorite outfits because it just simply had polyester in it, right? So it low-key kind of sucks. Like I'm low-key like shooting out my favorite clothes. I'm shooting out comfort foods. I'm shooting out what else am I shooting out? I'm shooting out my wallet. But either way, my wallet, it was either gonna be spent like thousands and thousands of dollars on me getting like surgery and medications and all that from like, these industries that like these big old companies that are getting me sick either way so they can treat me because they only get paid whenever they fix a broken leg, right? So if my leg breaks, they only get paid if it's fixed and they also get paid if they give me something to take the edge off for like 3 weeks afterwards, just to help with the pain and stuff like that, right? Because medication can't really heal you, right? It can only take away a symptom that you don't want to feel. It can only take away symptoms. You know what I mean? Just like a freaking like a big coach comes in and is helping you like kids basketball, not kids basketball, kids dodgeball, right? And like my team, enemy team. and we're sitting there playing basketball. Medication will come in, this big coach, knock away the kids, you know what I mean, start stealing dodgeballs and start throwing it at the enemy team, kind of like a little like metaphor, right? But like taking herbs, taking ginger, taking onions with honey on it, stuff like that, actually increases like my troops, makes them stronger, stuff like that, in order to fight whatever is like my body is going against, things like that. But ultimately, like making like the sacrifices of also not being like a chud and not being inside all day, actually like, you know, going outside, you know, taking in some fresh air, actually like spending more time outside, especially in the mornings, like going outside in the mornings, going outside in the evenings, and just like being outside in your environment is also really important. Not just like, you know, circadian rhythm, but also like vitamin D and like improving like overall energy production and like, you know, just the freaking works throughout the day. Low key feeling better, not just physically, but emotionally, you know, spiritually, being outside, being tuned with nature, like how we're like, you know, supposed to be or how we were back in the day, like ancestral times, like that, always being outside and things like that. Just overall enjoyable, right? So it's low key like it seems like a sacrifice at first, really getting rid of all these like bad habits of like just bad foods and stuff like that. Even if you think the foods are clean, they're not really like organic, like actually like natty to like the core, right? Because if you really look on the back, you'd be like, all right, it's like, you know, it's organic, like it says organic acai bowl, like I found in a Target the other day, organic acai, and then it's sitting there like organic guar gum, which is like a thickener, or say some type of was the other one? They'll say like organic sunflower oil right there, right? Which is like seed oil. It's like, you know, you don't want those things. You don't want those things. I don't want guar gum in its base. So I don't want organic guar gum. And it's like organic even in itself is still like it's a useful term to have. Like I still want that on my foods and my fruits and stuff like that. But it's like to the extent where it's like, even though it's kind of like a slippy term, like you can't just have organic for it to be good. It has to be organic, pasture raised, grass fed, 100% grass fed, not just grass fed. And there's so many marketing schemes because these companies really do they profit and get paid whenever you are sick. So their motive is to keep you sick and to keep you coming back for more medications, keep you coming back for more checkups, which is checkups like 7 minutes, you know, 7 minute checkup by a doctor. You know, they don't even ask you about like, you know, your diet, how are you eating and stuff like that. Just ask you like, you know, are you taking drugs? Are you drinking? No. All right. Well, then that's that. They don't really ask you about your lifestyle, about how you live and stuff like that. If you even touch grass or anything like that. You know, it's a bit of a shame, but you know, they only get paid when you are sick. If you don't go to the doctor, then you don't I mean, they don't get no money from you. So I need you coming to the doctor. Well, I don't need you going to the doctor, but they need you going to the doctor so they can continue to get paid from you, give you medications and stuff like that. So these insurance companies can continue to get paid from you and stuff like that. It's low key a nasty system, bro, and stuff like that. If you really look at who funds what and how these big old like who funds, like you can look at your if you go to like college or anything, like you can look to see who funds your health what are they called, your healthing area, your nursing area, something like that, to see who really has like, you know, where their motivations at, because it depends. Like if I'm getting money through people getting sick, right, the more sick people I have, the more money I get. If I get paid through people being healthy, the more healthy people I have, the more healthy money I get, if you want to say. But it really is like the incentive of how people get paid and stuff like that, which is also kind of like a nasty scheme because, you know, people are kind of butts out there for like these big companies out there. I mean, they get paid for sick people. So, yeah, I mean, it's kind of sucky, but, you know, it is kind of like the way that, you know, cookie crumbled for us. So it's like, you know, you really got to take health into your own initiative to like improve it, and by making these like sacrifices that may seem like, oh my goodness, like, you know, I'm losing my comfort food, because food out there now gives like dopamine to people. Like, I hope you know, like, there's like people out there that get freaking big old contraptions put over their head and they eat some type of like food. They'll eat like some type of Cheerios, like Lucky Charms, something like that, right? And you'll see on the little readings on the machine back here that they're actually getting freaking dopamine spikes each bite they take, right? And they're enjoying each bite with actual dopamine like associated with each food. Like they actually put freaking neurons on freaking people to see like, all right, is bro getting enough dopamine from eating this food item, compared to if you're not getting that, it's a lot easier to be like addicted to food, addicted to comfort food, addicted to like your like lifestyle and like eating meal to meal and stuff like that. It's really easy to get addicted to it because not just they're like you have literal like top grade smart freaking Harvard students, like the smartest cream of the crop people actually checking to see if you're getting dopamine from this activity, checking to see, all right, is can this be addicting, right? You don't just have that, but you also have like the unsatiability that food gives you now. Like you eat some food and you're like, all right, you know, I ate something, right? I ate a full freaking large Domino's pizza, but at the same time, I still feel hungry, right? You feel hungry because you don't actually have any like there was no density, there was no micronutrient or nutrient density in that food. You don't have any density in there, you don't have any real nutrients in there. You just kind of have like BS, artificial BS just mixed together, right? And you look, you just ate it. It's like edible, right? But it's not really real. It's not real food. just like most candies out there, it's not real. It's just like an edible item that you can like consume that doesn't really give you any purpose or any energy or anything like that. It just allows you to survive, not live, but allows you to survive to the next day. And it allows you to like enjoy putting something in your mouth, even though you can get not just that, but even more, you can actually live and eat real food and spend like, spend your money towards eating real actual natural, like organic foods. Because only organic foods, the only difference between something that's organic and non-organic is something's actually closest to its like purest original state compared to when you eat something that has like pesticides and glyphosate and has had already like, freaking artificial sweeteners. It's been changed up a lot before it's even hit your table compared to if you get something like organic, pasture raised, grass fed, like kind of like you can get it straight from like the cow. That's why like, like kind of like raw milk versus pasture raised, like, kind of like that like fight between like, all right, which one's like closest to like a real, which one's closest to like its organic purest form, which is like gonna be raw milk. What are the problems with raw milk? The only problems with raw milk was that was the only reason we started pasteurization was because what's that guy's name? I think his name was like Louis Pasteur. We started pasteurizing it because we had like the swill milk crisis. You can like research the history behind the swill milk crisis, but because they started trying to mass produce cows and trying to like have it to like a city industrial level, they try to do that with cows and keep it with raw milk, and they started adding like thickeners and stuff like that to like the milk. A whole bunch of people got sick off it because the cows are getting sick. Cows' teeth and tails are falling off, and they were getting what are those things that you barnacle what not bar I'm thinking for some reason I want to say barnacles, right? But they're getting these big old nasty I just spit, but these big old nasty like not bruises but like bumps. I'm trying to think of the word. Barnacles, no, not barnacles. I don't really know, but big nasty bumps on them everywhere. I can't remember what the name was specifically, right? But you can look it up, the swill mill crisis. Yeah, swill milk crisis. You see the one of the two, and you can really figure out like the freaking the process and reason on why we started pasteurization to begin with. It was because that milk used to be like a if you had like raw milk, it like comes out the cow straight and hot and you drink it right there. You don't like storage it and send it. And most people don't have refrigerators, nasty like quality of environment, stuff like that. Like there's so many things behind it if you really want to like dive into that rabbit hole, right? But ultimately, like the sacrifices you make to improve your health, you will get invested back. You will be helped with it. You will be like compensated for like the money, the energy, and the time you put into your body. Your body will outwardly show that out, reducing like the symptoms of like BS, especially quality of food. Improving the quality of food and putting money there is the most important thing. Like before you start looking at like organic cotton bed sheets and getting rid of polyester, even though you should get rid of polyester underwear, but like improving the quality of the foods you eat has like the biggest impact on your health. And that's the most like the biggest impact I have seen personally on my health compared to me waking up and having freaking oil pool right next to me and stuff like that. Like, oh, me having an oil pool right next to me. I mean, feeling like nauseousness, like teeth gritting nauseousness after I've eaten like breakfast or lunch, after I've eaten a meal, especially like in my freshman year, bro. Like me after eating a meal, I just had to close my mouth and keep my mouth shut because if not, if I open my mouth to speak, I just felt super nauseous, right? But improving the quality of the foods that you eat, just continuing to improve that quality, and then once you improve the quality, improving the quality of like fibers you wear and not putting your phone in your pocket, not using like nasty freaking highly fragrance and chemical freaking spray to clean your home and stuff like that with, improving the air quality of like plants and stuff like that. Like you can really take your health like higher and higher and achieve like a new way of like living and feeling like you never had before. And speaking of a new way of living and feeling, bro, if you really like enjoy listening to me yap for real, I mean, like stuff hearing things like this, and like when it comes to health and all that, check it out. Top of the description, Health Maxing 101. I created perfect, the most freaking amazing beginner guide out there. It starts from like beginner and it takes you all the way to advanced. Like it literally breaks out the whole spiel of like radiation, or if you have met radiation, phone in your pocket, AirPods in, like the problems with that, problems with like the food you eat, the fibers you wear, the fibers you sleep on, all like the fragrance and chemicals that's like sprayed around the home, how to like interact with like receipts. And so like I really go over all the basic, like the foundational things. Like if you didn't know a thing, you could watch this entire course. Took me freaking days to make. You could watch this entire thing and you'll know instantly freaking everything, bro. Just like that. Check it out. Hell Boxing 101. Give that one a look. Also, if you just want to yap to me for an hour, I also do like free calls. You can just look in the description. The second one, it should be the second one on there. But it's like I'll talk to you for an hour on freaking like, on Zoom, just sitting there yapping together, just be freaking enjoyable yap sesh. So 1 hour free call, check it out. And I really do appreciate you guys for watching. I appreciate you for real. Have a great one. Take it easy, man.